Welcome back to the Abandoned Project series. In the previous episodes we toured 3 full parks, Arcania, the first version of Lundway, and the Marvelous Realms. Today is the last episode of the series and we have a lot of smaller unfinished projects to check out, so it's time for a mega episode, baby! We're going to take a look at 10 different abandoned coasters or parks, so let's start right away with our number 1, my prototype Intamin Hot Racer. As most of you know, I'm a console player, and on console there aren't any mods, not that we really need them to be fair, so we have to find creative ways to do some things. The one prototype coaster I went the most in depth with was my Intamin Hot Racer prototype, combining a Gerstlauer Infinity track inside an RMC T-Rex track, all with an Intamin Classic Hypertrain. It is not as believable as I would want it to be, and it's not as smooth as one would want it to be because you have to match the angle of the tracks with angle snap, but for a vanilla creation I think it holds up. The layout isn't done of course, but what I've done has fun elements like a non-inverting loop or this airtime hill with a corkscrew inside it. Shall we take a ride on this prototype? So, Goudurix is a really bad old Gen Vekoma at Parc Astérix, and rumor has it that the park is looking to replace it in the next decade. I have a suggestion. Let's make it a new Gen Vekoma. This idea started when I joked with Corvus and Antonio that Parc Astérix would buy Leg Coaster, and it turned into this odd thing. I really don't like what I've done with this layout because the shaping is wrong, so are the transitions, and I really tried to stick with the original layout where I should have tried something completely new instead. Regardless, here is the result for this Goudurix 2.0. Shall we take a ride? I am obsessed with Voltron. I love the theme, the layout, the technology behind it, the area, the food they sell, and after I went to the opening day, I started working on a recreation in secret. Now, to be fair, it was only a side project while I was working on Arcania at the time, so I only ever did half of the layout, but honestly I love paying attention to very small details. I think the layout is very accurate and smooth. What do you all think? Well, wait for the POV to write your comment, okay? Yep, you read that right, I have made a flying fish recreation. Originally, I just wanted to help Thomas EM, who was struggling to find a way to make flying fish for his 4-park recreation, and as you know from the Intamin Hot Racer earlier in the video, I love to find ways to make rides that aren't in the game. That's what I've done with this Mack powered coaster that is really a Schwarzkopf with booster wheels keeping the train going at a constant speed throughout the layout. I also made these stupid looking supports that are accurate to the real thing. If you're a flying fish lover, give it some love in the comments. Now, I don't know if Tommy is gonna finish this project, but just in case, I wanted to talk about it on the channel, otherwise you guys would have never known about it. Shall we take a ride on flying fish? Yeah, it goes around 3 times like the official POV. Let's just skip to the next creation, okay? Even though I hate this wooden coaster in real life, I started working on a Tonnerre de Zeus recreation for a contest until I stopped working on it to make Loophole instead. That being said, I had totally finished the layout with different wood colors for the retract parts, and I purposefully left the old track of the ride beat rougher than the smooth retract parts. That's why I ended up not liking the project and switching to something else for the contest. Shall we take a ride on Tonnerre de Zeus? From a wooden coaster to a hybrid, I toyed with the idea of making a massive amusement park at some point, and I wanted to make the tallest hybrid coaster in the world, and that took the form of Wild Goddess. Fun fact, it had a similar element to Hyperia's Outer Banked Hill Roll before it got revealed. Honestly, I don't have much to say about this project apart from the fact that it's unfinished, so let's let the coaster speak for itself. Speaking of Hyperia, this next project is a Mack Hyper 2. This is a coaster that was supposed to be a new addition to the remastered version of Parc Ciel Bleu that I released back in May, but I decided to remove it because it didn't feel right to change the dynamic of the park so drastically for a remaster. It's still a coaster that I like very much. It has a big focus on massive airtimey elements in the first half and inversions in the second half. The colors are echoing the French flag, and the name Marianne was given after the personification of France because the coaster would have been set in the new Paris area. Let's take a ride on Marianne. This is the only Intamin coaster I've ever completed. It was a new gen Blitz that I'd built for a horror-themed park, and its concept was basically, what if Toutatis had the theme of Wicker Man? Essentially, Wulverfolk means wolf people, and it would have had the riders go in a trance that would make them become wolves, and this layout combining ideas from Velocicoaster, Gotham City Escape, and Toutatis is a really good one in my opinion, despite some questionable shaping here and there. Shall we take a ride? In late 2023, Iron Matty had organized its biggest contest yet with the Hollywood contest, where one had to make a park theme to films. My idea was to take you to a cineplex and have you step inside the screen of several movies. But the problem I faced was that the contest required you to use one real-life franchise, and I hated that because I wanted to make fake pastiche films like Valorous Multiversal Mayday, Cruise to the Flooded Tomb, and Fourth Wall Heist. So instead of keeping close to the Cineplex idea, I had to include a classic Hollywood area hub with rides themed to King Kong, The Wizard of Oz, and Rebel Without a Cause, and I hated that, and that's exactly why I stopped going further with this project. I still made an entrance that I'm very proud of, just because I still believed I could stick to my original idea when I was making it. It was complete with a Universal Studios inspired centerpiece, a lobby with box office, custom toilets, and the entrance to the old Hollywood area that should have been the main corridor of the Cineplex. It was a really good idea originally, and I'm honestly really sad that I couldn't couldn't continue working towards my original goal in order to shift the focus of the concept so drastically. Anyway, let's move on from this failure and to our last abandoned project of the series. Welcome to the DCC, the Dance Club City, where you can live your perfect life. That's right, the whole inspiration behind this park was the 2023 album from Nothing But Thieves called Dead Club City. I listened to it a lot last year, and its album cover as well as the whole concept just inspired me to build a resort with a nightclub park on an island. You can even see similarities between this structure dominating the entrance plaza and the album cover. I think I don't want to tell you too much about the resort part of the project because I might reuse it for another project in Planet Coaster 2, but I'm down to talk about the eco-brutalist architecture and almost cyberpunk aspect of the entrance too. The entrance is one of my best triggered builds I've ever made. The animations for the screen and the equalizer that follows the music that's in the park are still blowing my mind to this day, so it's always a sign that I did something good. This entrance also had an alternative version of it with dueling Intamin straddle coasters going through it called Cyberbites. I think we should take a ride on them before moving on. Now that this is done, we can focus on the ancestor of Velocity, an unnamed Mack launch coaster that rocks a similar color pattern and similar elements too, which will be our last ride of the day and the series. Just bear in mind that the launch wasn't supposed to directly lead you to the stall, but enjoy the ride. And voila! Thank you so much for your support on the Abandoned Project series. It's been very therapeutic for me to talk to you all about these projects that I can now leave in the first game to move on to greener pastures in Planet Coaster 2. Subscribe to see what I'll do in this new game. I have a few ideas already that I cannot wait to try and show you, and like the video to show me you've enjoyed this last little series before the end of Planet Coaster. If you want to talk about these projects, you can do so in the comments or by chatting in the Yan HQ, my Discord server with the link in the description. I just launched the channel supporter memberships, which give you 2 days of early access to new videos, sneak peeks at ongoing projects, and cool badges next to your name in Premiere chats, which Shane Turner, New Channel, and Birdie are already rocking. Many thanks to all 3 of you for taking this extra step in supporting the channel. If you'd like to join my supporters, the link to do so is also in the description. Thank you all for watching, this has been Yan, and I'll see you in my last Planet Coaster video very soon.